welcome to the mixtape tour. No.
Yes, right.
These projects are so cute.
I got my mixtape.
I did notice that you were wearing matching glasses to our project today. I love this little bag.
It's adorable.
I mean, this
So
is
cute.
this and the jelly bag that it comes in is probably the reason people are buying this. Going to be part of this event, but so very cute. Pretty straightforward though.
Yes.
For the most part, there's not any super crazies.
Yeah.
One little bit of difference is we're actually going to quilt the back.
Yes.
So sometimes we just put a piece of fabric on for the back, and we are actually going to quilt it so it'll have a little bit more body to the bag itself. So that is the first step. We have a standard embroidery bobbin in. Yeah. We are using Exquisite number 307 as our quilting color. And we have,
pink color.
It is a nice pink, and you'll see it. It won't blend in too much, which
right. We kind of want
if you can't see it, what's the point of all this cute quilting?
Right,
so,
on the backing especially.
On the back especially, exactly. So little different again is the stabilizer. So it recommends a medium cutaway instead of a mesh cutaway. So all of our bags used to be made like this. And then when we started doing crazier things in there, they went to the mesh because I think it was easier to cut for different things. But it will have a lot more body. Yeah. So we will let you guys know how all that works out.
Right. If we think it's too stiff,
too stiff, we'll let you know, and possibly do the backing with this, but the front with mesh, so that the corners will turn out a little bit more, because that's the real big problem is when you're going to turn your corners. If you have too much in there, then they don't come out nice.
Yes, and there's two sizes. The event size is in the 6x10 hoop. There is also, I think, an 8x12 size, which is a nice big size. I'm going to try to have a sample of that stitched out before the event. I don't know.
I can't imagine why you would want that.
It's so cute.
This is totally right up Sarah's alley, in case any of you didn't know. So first thing first, you want to load. There are two separate designs, the backing and then the building of everything. So we are going to start with that. It has total of only like 5 minutes stitch time. So this one should be pretty quick. We're going to start with the placement line to where to put the batting.
Yeah.
Let's rock and roll.
And we are just going to keep the same color in the entire time. No reason to change.
Nope. So that will help.
Yeah.
I think that originally
they
didn't
trim
so then
the
you
batting.
have batting plus all of that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, there's a little bit of prep work to do to get yourself started. For this part, they really just want you to have that piece starched. And then there's a piece of like woven interfacing on one piece.
We're going to completely cover that little guy up, and then we're going to tack that down. You could, of course, tape here. No surprise, I'm not going to.
Yeah. Plus tape on batting.
It doesn't come off as well. You end up with lots of fuzz yuck. My nails done this week, so they won't be too long for next week.
Yeah, I should get my nails done this week too.
Mine are just starting to get too long again.
Does that, doesn't it?
It happens.
Oh, you got your cute Kimberbell scissors.
Yeah. Be my first time using them.
On camera.
On camera to boot.
Yeah. No pressure. Are they as good as the Fomori?
My hand's cramping and
you want me to be the trimming?
It's gonna do that no matter whether I'm just sitting here or not. So we'll see if I struggle, I'll let you know. All right, so we are going to trim around that excess, which is good because that means. Oh no, these are great.
Oh, good. The pressure.
Right. Very easy, no stress in your hand, cutting beautifully.
And the holes for your fingers are a little bit bigger.
They are. Batting is always weird.
Mm-hmm.
There's like spots that don't want to cut no matter what you're
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's a little bit of, they call it like scrim in there.
Yep.
Different brands of batting.
Have different amounts and
Mm-hmm.
so what this is going to do is get this batting out of our seam allowance, which is what we want. So don't skip this step. I didn't leave myself much to hang on to here.
Well, they did pre-cut the batting for you, so there is definitely not a lot of extra batting.
All right, beautiful. We're going, stuck to me. There we go. All right, so we are all trimmed. We're gonna come back over here. I'm guessing it's gonna give us a placement line.
Yes. You could feel free to skip this if you wanted.
You could skip this if you wanted to, but we're gonna go ahead since it is in the instructions. This is going to show us the area that we need to cover for our background fabric itself.
Yes.
Feel it now. It wasn't until I mean, that doesn't feel loose.
No.
But it's there. All right, we are going to completely cover that up. Unlike our batting, I'm just going to say this ahead of time, just in case somebody is ahead, you are not going to trim this after you've stitched it down.
We're not.
All right, we're going to tack that in place. The other way. I wasn't ready for it to come left.
Must be a lefty who did that
Somebody
one.
programmed very differently. Wait a minute, why are you going this way? All right.
Now we're going to do the quilting.
Color stop. Number 5 is that beautiful quilting. This is absolutely adorable.
Right, so exciting.
Just a couple minutes stitch out here.
So cute.
Pair of sunglasses in the corner.
Cute. And then we have a heart and some lightning bolts and a cassette tape. How cute. All right, we're going to fast forward through this part so that you guys don't have to watch this stitch.
All right, there is one color stop left, and these are going to be the registration marks that we're going to use to line this up to put it on probably in like the final couple of steps.
Since you'll be putting it on sort of blind.
We can see this thread just fine, so I don't see any reason to change. It'll be a double line probably in that area that we need to see. You could change to a little bit more visible color if you felt that you needed a little bit more help to see where it's at. So far, it is literally lining right up with the corner squares.
Yeah.
So.
But we also did a little bit of contrasty pink. So
yeah, it doesn't
really
blend. If you had a lighter pink in, our other pink in the kit is going to be number 302. You certainly could have used that if you wanted it to be lighter than the fabric color instead of a little bit darker. And if you use that, it might be a little harder to see.
Right.
I'm like, oh my God, daylight savings. A brief moment of, oh!
How is it that time already?
How did that happen?
Yes. Okay. So that's all the stitching we have for the back. We need to hoop I know it's so cute. Hoop another layer of the cutaway. This is medium cutaway. And I'm going to load the second design. And those designs are going to be found in your event day folder. We didn't mention that last time, but event day embroidery file.
Yeah. So to make sure that you're getting the right
correct size.
sizes, you want to pull from there. Otherwise, your kit pieces won't work.
And there are 4 files in your event day. This is the third one. And this one says you totally rock. There are a couple of other like words that you can use on your cassette tapes. And Lisa is using that nice 7x12 magnetic hoop. You can see how that works. It holds down everything super nice. And
and this doesn't stretch. So I'm literally pulling just to make sure that I get a nice taunt. You have something that's got any stretch in it, you want to be careful that you're not adding puckers in by doing that.
Right.
But that is not the case for this. So,
yeah.
All right. So we are going to begin with the zipper and, the batting first, but the zipper, which I think this is the same color we're going to want to be. So I think we're going to just stay
with that pink
with
307.
that. While that is stitching, you can take your leftover and trim around.
You'll
just trim off your stabilizer.
Yeah.
Don't cut any of the fabric.
Now, if you haven't already done this, there are a couple of things that you're going to want to do for your prepping of your pieces. You have 4 pieces in your kit that you need to press a 1/2 inch down. So they're basically like duplicates in 2 different colors. So we've got the little confetti white and the pink, the long skinny strips, and then the bigger rectangle pieces. Just press that 1/2 inch piece down. And then there is a white color, which is basically the base of your cassette tape. That's the one that you're going to want to put the, we put Easy Tee or the woven interfacing on the back of that.
It's going to prevent any over sharing of thread color or whatnot through your fabrics.
Exactly. And they do recommend that you starch everything using your favorite starch. We did use Easy Tee on that this morning. And to be honest, a lot of the fabric shrank up quite a bit. So just FYI, that does happen.
All right. And we've got...
I don't know what that piece is for. I have a feeling it's for like the part where
Maybe
like
does it go over like a vinyl to go over the tape part?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. All right. So we've got a rectangle over here, and our second piece of batting is going to go right there, and we're going to tack that guy down. We are trimming. I'm using these. That batting did not play nicely.
It did not. All right. So we do need to trim in the hoop now. We're going to trim off that excess excess batting. Don't trim your stabilizer. You'll regret
No,
that.
don't do that yet. I don't think we're going to do that this time. Maybe it's me. I'm just not doing well today.
You want to switch sides?
All right.
We're going to see
See
where.
where to place our zipper.
Yes. And this is color number 3.
All right, so there's a very clear set of lines here, and we are going to take our zipper pull, and that's going to go up at the top of the hoop, and the zipper stop will be right at the base, kind of right in front of your lap, if you will. And we are going to line that right up. Good.
Mhm.
All right, so we are going to take and tape that in position. And though I don't normally tell you to stretch things, you do want to have that to be nice and straight. You don't want a big buckle in the middle. So give that just a slight tug, smooth that along the line, and then tape on the other end. And I will show you that in just a second. Just trying to see, I was a little too far left. So
I'll give you a little
table.
Yep.
Aw, you're so sweet. All right. So I sometimes tape in the middle, but I don't usually. Usually I just kind of hold my fingers as it's going along. Putting tape on the batting here, it doesn't like to come off very well. So if you feel like I have to tape here, just put a little piece over here if you want to secure that in position. We're going to come down and then come back up and see what happens when you mess with it. All right, here we go. We are still using color 307.
And if you don't like the placement of your zipper, if it shifted or did something like that, you can pop out these stitches and redo this part.
And so you want to look at that. Am I happy with where I'm at?
Right.
Did it really shift? You want to make sure that it's fairly straight. So look and see the space of zipper tape and make sure that you're fairly well balanced.
Yes.
As long as everything looks good, then we're going to turn the hoop over and we're going to remove the stabilizer from the back, which will enable us to actually use said zipper.
Yes, remove the stabilizer from the zipper section.
So right here is the section that we need to remove. I have done this in a couple different ways, depending upon your comfort level. I have used a seam ripper. I have done just like what I'm doing right now and snipped in and then just kind of pushed. So if you don't make chopping, it gives you a little bit straighter edge. I did this really tight, so even that's, there we go. You can just push right along your stitch line. And then snip off that other end. So we're just removing that rectangle and we are revealing the zipper teeth inside of there. This corner over here I didn't do very good and we're going to fix that.
It's hard to get good help.
It is. Should totally fire myself. There we go. All right, we are going to go back to the machine. Nope, we're not. Hang on. See why you turn things over?
Mm-hmm.
On the back of the hoop, place the above zipper lining right side up with the fold along the left edge of the zipper. So lining is the white.
Yes, I believe the lining is the white.
And we are going to place that right along your zipper teeth. Okay, so my fold is underneath. All right, pretty side is up. And we are going to just line that up. Again, you want to keep it so that it's pretty straight on each side of that. Thank you so much.
How many pieces do you think you need?
It's just having us do the sides, so let's
Okay.
see how that goes.
Did I make that long enough?
Yeah.
I feel like that's a little shorter. Is that still okay?
Yeah, we're good.
All right.
So again, I'm giving that fabric just a slight little pull to make sure that I don't have a buckle. So I don't want it to push and shift as it's stitching. All right. So we're taping. Make sure that you're covering up all four corners. So I only use 2 pieces of tape, but I don't have any corners open because it's very easy to get those corners to fold down. Yeah. So we don't want that. We want to make sure that it's going to lay nice and flat on the other side.
And if you're using a regular hoop and you have one of those little wool mats that you can put inside your hoop, sometimes that helps to give you something a little bit more secure to push down on. So if you don't want to pop your inside hoop out, so just be mindful whenever you're working on the back of your hoop.
And then on the front, we're going to use the pink piece, and we're going to basically do the exact same thing. So just balance your excess fabric off the edges. And you want to go right along your zipper tape. You want to have room for your zipper head to move.
Right, so don't put it over your zipper teeth.
Right, don't cover up the teeth. Get it nice and tight so that it lays smoothly, and tape down both sides. Once that is in place, we are going to put that back in the machine, and it will tack both of those pieces in. I'm lifting the corner here just so that my fabric's not rubbing on the bed of the machine on the back. I find that I tend to have a few less issues if I don't rub the fabric along the bed of the machine that's on the back of my hoop.
Now, are we going to keep the same pink in, or do we want to go a little bit lighter now?
I think we could do either. It's showing the same color, but we can, whatever you would like.
I think we're going to leave it. So if at home you don't want this like straight
to show
line
as much,
right, to be as noticeable, maybe you're not as
the lighter
pink
in your kit number 302 would also work here if you would like to swap that out. It would blend in a little bit more rather than show.
Exactly.
This matches pretty good.
Yeah.
But
it's cute.
And you can look at your quilting as to whether you like the amount of contrast or not. All right, so we're going to just go ahead.
I'm always surprised how small the box is in comparison to the piece of fabric that we have.
Right? It's like, really? Yeah, got that right on the money there, didn't I? Some back.
I love a good triple stitch. I wish they made this one just a tiny bit larger though.
Yeah, the stitches themselves should be a little wider.
If I were doing this at home, that's what I would do. Like in a sewing machine. All right, should we double check to make sure that we're caught on the back?
I think we should. So
better safe than sorry.
It does not say, I was curious if it actually listed that in the instructions. I don't see that. It just tells you to place your lining fabric, which means we're going to look at it anyways. But when you do this, let's make sure that your fabric, oh, look at that.
Oh, it's like perfect.
It's like magic. So we want to make sure that we caught that line there and that you are fully secured to that zipper. So what we're going to do now, if you're following in the instructions, we're on page 14, step number 15 in the instructions. We're going to take our lining fabric and we are going to basically do the same thing below the zipper. All right, now my 4 corners are a little farther spaced out this time. So I'm going to use 4 pieces of tape this time around. Again, I'm giving it just a slight to make sure that it's nice and flat. And like Sarah said, if you have a mat, you could put your wool felt mat underneath here so that you have a firm surface to press down to if you would like to.
Yeah.
So we are...
I was just going to say, Dime has, if you're using another magnetic hoop, Dime has those new flatter wool mats that go inside, which probably would work well with these too, because there's not
as much loft here as you have with the standard. And then same thing, we're going to, that's not the right one. I want this one. We're going to take our pink and put that right below So I know somebody out there is going, wow, she's using a lot of tape. This is one of those things. It matters where that fabric is going to end up. Yeah. So it does matter, and you don't want it shifting. So.
No shifty fabrics allowed.
All right, I am happy with my placement, so I'm going to go back. And it's going to stitch just right here. And then I need to fold my lining out of the way. So
that's a little different.
All right, so we're gonna just have this stitch here. I'm surprised they're putting the lining in now.
Me too.
Maybe they don't want that extra line in there. Previously, they've had 2 stitch lines here.
Right.
And then if they don't line up, then you have a...
Yeah, a lot of times we did like a flip and sew.
Mm-hmm.
I should probably drink some more coffee.
I should probably drink a Mountain Dew.
To get you one?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Trying to be good?
I'm gaining so much weight. It's just not good. But I'm sure right after we're finished with this, I'll hit one. So, all right. So again, we're going to check and make sure it tacked down the lining on the inside. But we are going to fold the lining over the zipper tape. So we're going to come back over here so you guys can see what the heck I'm talking about. And looks like we missed right here. Do we want to
maybe you should go back over?
Yeah. Let's see. So this is what we're looking for. So see how that didn't catch right there? That means my lining is not going to be secured on the inside,
right,
which is not ideal. So
are we going to tear it all out, or are we just
No, I'm not going to tear it all. I'm just going to go over that section.
Okay.
And I'm going to pull it back a little bit so I can adjust the angle.
Okay.
So I'm just going to snip a couple stitches.
And I'm going to go back a few stitches.
And then I'm going to raise this just a hair. And then we're going to re-hit that section again. This is your only chance, to my knowledge, to get that in position. Mm-hmm. So let's, did I go far enough? We're going to go with it. All right, so here we go. Perhaps if you put that in the right way. All right, so we are just going to...
All right, did I go back far enough?
I think that's pretty good, yeah.
Okay. And
hopefully we'll catch that lining this time. Got it halfway. that last little bit didn't stay where I wanted it. Or I didn't put it in the right spot, one or the other.
Yeah, it's a long little truck there.
Well, there's no real line to measure to, so it's
Right.
kind of a little bit of guess as to where it's going to go. So,
you know what? I wonder if it was at the beginning and not the end.
oh,
Because I see some stitches that are out
yeah.
here.
You want to?
Maybe we just
go
go
back
over
up.
the whole
Yep.
thing. Yep.
Yeah, I think you're, because that's where the
Yeah.
stitches I took out were. Good call. My befuddled medicine brain is.
Well, you know, best laid plans.
Let's try that again. All right. So, assuming that we caught it that time, we're going to fold that lining back over the zipper tape so that we're not stitching on it. That one did it.
Yay.
All right, so we just re-hit that so everything is tacked down nice and smooth, which is exactly what we're looking for here. So what we need to do is take our lining and fold it so that it is not going to be stitched on. So I'm just going to tuck that up over the tape, and then I'm going to retape this so it stays that direction.
Which is definitely different. We do not usually do this. So you definitely...
In the past, we haven't added the lining until later.
Yeah, you don't want to skip this because it's about to do all of the mixed tape stuff.
In which case it'll go right through your whole
Lining.
lining and everything. So we want to make sure that that stays there. The nice thing about this is we can double check and make sure it's there because there's like a little hang tag. We can hold on to that and make sure that it stays out of the way. And if at any time you don't see that over there, you'll know that it has slipped.
Right.
So we can literally look over here and see, yep, my fabric is coming out, so I'm still good.
Yes.
So what we're going to do now is we're going to actually tack this portion into position.
Because we're going to be putting a lot of stitches on this, so we don't want that to
We don't want it to be loose. Yep. And again, we are still on color 307. All right. And now the fun begins. Okay, the first placement is going to be for that white background.
Should we change our thread?
So I think we should change thread so that we don't see that coming
Alright.
through. So we're going to put in,
We have ES.
we're going to use the natural color.
015.
So
Yep.
it's not quite as bright of a white because honestly, this is not a bright white fabric.
Right.
All right. So she's going to thread that while I keep this thread from falling all over the place. No, I missed. Try again. There we go.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to have the placement line for a background of that. So it's calling that light purple. We did a light pink though, right?
Yeah. It's almost hard to tell.
It is,
isn't it?
yeah, I was like, which side is up? So double check and make sure that you are putting the fabric side up because that is very similar. And then we're going to tack this down. We are not trimming. We're going to leave that all there because there's going to be a lot of stitches. So we want to give it room to
Yeah, you
pull
know,
in if it needs to without pulling out of our tack down.
and you definitely want to put that woven on the back of that.
Absolutely.
It actually kind of creates a color block here
Mm-hmm.
because the pink won't be showing through as much. It does change the hue just a tad bit, but it's an
Not
even
much.
hue, and it would be very peachy had we not put that on.
Yes, you would see that coming through, and it would change this in a whole different manner, in a way we wouldn't like.
Right.
And our colors wouldn't pop off of it as nicely. So
Exactly.
it'll definitely make that better.
All right.
All right, so we
let's
are going to
definitely-
change to the purple.
Right. And we
And the
have
color in your kit is
ES390. We did change our colors maybe just a smidge from the original.
all right, so we're just going to have a line stitched here, and again, we're in that nice dark purple. I think this guy's next, and then blue.
Yep. That makes sense. This is just going to take a couple minutes, and we'll pause for a second so that you don't have to watch all of this.
Okay, so there is our first line at the bottom of the tape in that beautiful dark purple. We're going to switch now. In your instructions, it looks like a light purple. We're going to go to a light pink because Sarah really likes pink. So there you go. So this is number 302.
Yes, ES302.
I think everything we have today is exquisite.
Yes. And this is a little smaller line and probably about half the stitch time, so. It's gonna be so cute.
This is really cute. There is line number 2 in that pretty pink.
Yes. And next color, we're going to do ES904. This is a tad bit different than the photo. This is a more
Aqua
color versus kind of like
solid
a
blue.
cornflower blue or something.
By all means, if you prefer, you can swap out with something else.
Yeah.
But your kit is going to have that color in it. And this is slightly less stitch time, so I'm guessing it's slightly smaller, but not by a whole heck of a lot. And here we go.
So cute. All right, there is our third stripe.
We are making progress.
We are going back to ES307. That is that pink that we were using earlier.
So of the 3 pinks, this is the medium shade.
Yes. And this is about the same amount of
As
time
the previous one.
as the previous one. Yep.
Okay, this is really cute.
Right.
I like that they're not exactly the same.
Yeah.
It has some variance to it. It just gives it a lot more depth and character
Yeah.
than just plain old satin stitches or
Right.
plain fills or whatever.
Yeah.
Got a nice pattern here. So it looks really nice.
Yep. It is. It's coming out super cute. And this line might not be completely full because there is a little bit of stitch, like
It's going to dip down just a hair in the center for
Yeah.
where the actual tape parts are going to run.
Exactly. So it's it totally supposed to look like that.
Yep, no problem. You're not seeing things.
Your machine is acting correctly. All right, we are going to move on to our next color, and we are going to do ES1619. This is a bright green. And again, this won't be a full stripe across. It is going to pause kind of in the middle because we have the center part of the cassette tape that's going to go over that. That way we don't have stitches on stitches. This one's pretty quick. This one is definitely pretty quick. Then we are going to change to yellow. And then after we do the yellow stripe, we are going to trim the outside fabric. And then we're going to do the satin stitch around the white. So we're going to change the thread color to ES 602. And that is going to be for our last stripe. Okay, and again, this is pretty quick. Definitely a lot of stitching, but so cute. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to take our hoop off of the machine and we need to trim the white fabric that we appliqued down. So we're just going to trim around here. And then we're going to put white in. Okay. Now we are going to change to white, making sure I still want to make sure that my backing fabric, that lining fabric is taped down. Okay, I'm just double checking to make sure that I have it over there. And we're going to change to that white. And then we have the satin stitch all around this. This is probably about an 8 or a 9 minute stitch along. So, and that is going to be color number, we are on color number 16, and we are on step number 30 in your book. Okay. Okay, we are just about done with the satin stitch. And the next thing that we need to do is the placement line for the base part. All right. So very much. I'll get that ordered. And I went ahead and kept the white in. Okay, so I'm going to place that right over that, trying to make sure that I'm staying straightish.
Yeah, that makes sense. We've made enough of them.
Okay, there's your mic. And then as soon as this is done stitching, we do need to trim around. I didn't leave a ton of extra fabric up at the top there. You might want to hang yours a little more centered so that you've got a little bit more space there. Good job.
Oh, you gave me a lot to hang on to trim, huh?
That's what I was just saying. You might want to not do that to your Lisa.
I'm not sure how I feel about that. All right, so
Okay.
we're going to trim that guy?
Yes. And then we'll be kind of finishing up the tape part. Be careful, the back is still flipped back.
Got it.
And we're going to keep white in, so don't change your thread yet. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. I see you.
I know, right?
She saw me coming back. She was like, oh, I'm going to mess with her.
She left me. That's what you get for leaving.
See what you get.
Okay.
All right. Was there anything else I was supposed to do?
Nope.
Okay. There we are. All trimmed up. Back to the machine. Make sure that your lining piece is still off to the right side. Should be able to grab hold of that from the edge of your hoop. All right, and
Yep.
this is going to do the decorative stitching over that, yeah?
Yeah.
Beans, man. Oh. Said not to trim that side.
Oh, oops.
It's just because that'll be the seam
Yeah.
where, you know, it pulls out.
Yeah. So don't trim the bottom next time.
Right along the bottom of the bag, you can leave your pink striped fabric. You don't need to trim that side. If you did already, it's okay. It won't be the end of the world. It just may not fold into the seam as smooth. And then we're going to go raspberry. All right, so that is the decorative stitching on that base part. We are going to change to our raspberry color. Ooh, where did I catch that on? Raspberry colored thread.
This is going to do like the little screws on the outside.
Little circles out here.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not on camera. Little circles in those four corners. And here we go.
Mm-hmm. Last one. And then we are going to change to purple, and we're going to do back to that ES390. This is going to be the words.
Okay, so I'm not sure if we said, but our raspberry color is ES333. We're going back to that 390 now for the dark purple for the words. Did you say the color? I don't remember.
Yes.
Okay. Better to be safe than sorry.
It totally is better to be safe than sorry.
I came in midstream in there. I didn't know where we were.
All right. You totally rock.
Thank you. You too. All right, so we've got the outside of the label, if you will.
Yep.
Stitch here, beautiful triple stitch. I agree, it could be a little bit larger stitch length, but still very pretty.
Yep.
And then it'll do the words inside of that.
And we haven't had any issues with the triple stitch popping with our bobbins because it's pretty thick.
I'm wondering if what the letters are going to do. We'll have to see.
But if you know that your machine is one of those that sometimes does small little tight letters and your bobbin thread pops
Comes up.
you could definitely change your bobbin thread for this. Well, we're going to go with it and see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
And your backing fabric or the lining part should still be
Out of
pulled
the way
over.
over here.
Yes.
Should still be able to see it down here.
Oh, looks good.
Looks good.
Yeah. Helps that it's white
Not a
fabric
running
too.
stitch.
Yeah.
It's so that helps. The triple stitch is better
Yeah.
than a running stitch. Running stitch, we'd see it for sure.
Yeah. What's next?
Next is going to be the white box that's going to go here.
Okay.
So we're going to change to our white thread, and it's going to do that little center section in here as soon as the words are finished.
Cool. Okay, we are going to change to that white because we totally rock.
We totally do. Absolutely.
There's a little fuzz there.
I see.
We'll probably have to clean that up afterwards.
So there's a couple jumps in there as well as yep. So get my new fancy Kimberbell snips. Trim those out.
Yes.
Heck yeah. All right. So we're going to do just a fill box right inside of here. Our next color is going to do the tape roll inside of the little window right there. We're going to use a gray ES8010. Double checking, my lining is still not in stitch area. And here we go.
Yes, we definitely don't want to go through. I mean, it wouldn't be the end of the world if the backing part of your embroidery was on the inside because it is the inside of your zippered pouch.
But if it was stitched at an awkward angle, that would be a problem.
Definitely be a problem. Yes. Yep. There's a whole generation of people who do not know the struggle of trying to rewind to get back to the beginning of the song. Right?
Pencil. And it's got to be a true pencil, not a mechanical one. So those mechanical ones didn't fit.
They weren't big enough. They were
no,
too smooth.
they were a little too small.
Right. Or rewinding on the actual thing to try to stop at the right spot.
Oh, and that never worked.
Too far.
Yeah, too far.
Not far enough.
Not far enough. Too far. Not far enough. Too far. Not far enough.
The struggle.
It's just like fast forward on you never can get
TV.
the right spot on your
Exactly.
TV. It's the same problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, we got to be getting almost there because there's a little bit of white gap over on that side. So, okay, now we're going to repeat on this side.
Yeah. Almost.
After it does the black, like flower shaped, the reels, that's when it'll do a placement line and then place that.
All right. Okay, wrapping up this part. Then we're going to go to black. And this one's definitely a few minutes, probably 8 or 9 minutes. We definitely have a lot of stitching on this.
So far, it does not appear to have any pulling or anything, which is good.
Yeah.
So it's nice and clean, very smooth. So the batting and everything, the heavier cutaway.
Yeah, versus the no-show mesh.
It's definitely giving it a little bit of bang for its buck there.
Yep. All right, we'll let this stitch.
All right, that completes that black stitch out there. We are now on color stop number 25. We're going to change back to white thread, and we're going to do the fills inside of those circles there.
That would fit that embroidery arm.
All right, with white thread in, we're going to go ahead and go back to these two circles here, color stop number 25. Of that center circles there, we're going to go back to our black thread, and it's going to do the reel here. So it kind of looks like a flower the way that it's been digitized. So we're going to, again, switch back to black. Back to black. Babe. No. And here we go. It's looking dark out there.
Okay.
We are going to leave the black thread in, and it's going to stitch around this again to tell us where to put our vinyl, which was in your kit. So probably don't actually need this, but we'll do it anyways. It's just going to stitch around that center to tell you where to place this.
One more
round of stitching in here?
Yeah, your machine is probably starting to sound like ours, very loud,
Pop,
because
pop,
there
pop,
is
pop.
a lot of stitches.
Probably. I did need to replace our bobbin. We had a very full bobbin when we started. I did need to replace it in the white fills, just FYI. So if you haven't had to yet, you will need to soon. All right, we're going to completely cover that up. You can, of course, tape this down. I'm not going to. Shocker.
Good. We can make a little note that they're going to need more than one bobbin.
And we use pre-wound, which has more on it than...
Right.
Oh, that is really loud.
Woo! Super loud.
All right, so this one we are trimming. This is raw edge.
So nice clean cuts, right? We're recording.
It said restart, and I was like,
oh,
what are
no,
we?
no.
It's like, wait, what?
I just moved the mouse.
Got it. All right, so here is the vinyl piece. We need to trim around that. I'm just going to give it a little bit of a fold on those edges. I find when I'm trimming vinyls and things like that, that tends to help me get a little bit better trim. So
yeah, you held that up and I hadn't changed the camera yet, just FYI.
You want me to do that again?
Yeah, there you go.
So we're going to trim off that excess around the outside, and I like to give my vinyls a little bit of a folded edge there. Just, I find it helps trim a little bit better. So sorry, pardon. This is raw edge, which means there's not going to be another stitch covering these edges up. So try to keep it fairly balanced because there won't be anything. This is going to be your final look, if you will. All right, we are not using the excess leftovers there, so we just have kind of the plastic covering of the inside there. And we are now going to stitch the centers here, and that's going to be in pink. I think we're going to do our 307 again. You want to make sure that your lining is still off to the side.
Yep, 307 it is.
All right, so switch back. So I'm checking over here, making sure that I'm not stitching my lining in after all of that hard work of not messing it up. Let's not do that now. And we're just going to do little circles inside the flowers, if you will, for lack of a better description. Press that over. I don't know if I need to do that.
No, I think it's going to go over just fine. This is quick comparatively to all of the other
things.
Stuff.
All of the rest of our stitches should go pretty quickly.
Yep. Yeah, we're going to start putting the whole thing together, I bet, right?
Yes, ma'am.
The last of the decorative stitches.
So because our exterior fabric, and we've done all of our trim stitching in that 307, we're going to leave 307 in for the rest of this project. If you would like it to be a different color, by all means, you know, if you use the lighter color or something like that, you could change to that one instead, but we're going to leave 307 in.
And we're going to pull the lining over finally,
We are going to pull that lining over. So we are going to have it go back the other direction, and we are going to tape that down. One little stitch here from some random stitch out that is keeping that from laying flat. So I'm just going to snip that little guy. I think it was the tack down of the front
makes sense.
piece because we had it bent in. All right, but we want that to be nice and smooth, nice and tight. We don't want any bubbles coming along. So more tape here is probably better than not enough. Make sure that your corners are completely covered. Where did I lose the tape to?
Behind you.
Thank you. I am definitely not going to skimp on tape when it comes to the back of my hoop. It's just not worth
yeah.
The dang it, that didn't do what I thought it was going to do.
Right. And if you've been taking a lot of Kimberbell events, you probably got like 27 rolls.
And you probably have a lot, yeah. Especially if you're like me and only use it on the backs of the hoop, you know, and zippers and things like that. You know, it's easy to accumulate. All right, I am comfortable that I have that very secure. We're going to go back to the machine, and the next color stop is going to tape and stitch that part in place. So it's going to go basically right on top of where we tacked the top down. It's going to do that same basic stitch again. Then we have registration marks. Are we thumbtacking? That's the next step.
Do you think we need to?
I don't want to.
I don't want to either. I just think we fold
I just
the
check
corners.
my corners and
yeah,
tape.
and tape.
Okay. All right, so that should be all taped in place.
We got to do the registration.
We're going to just, I don't need to remove anything to do that.
Do you think we should change color for this so you can see? It's probably just going to be in the upper outside corners.
Let's just leave it. If it's not, then we'll restitch it.
Okay.
But I think it's going to just do the upper outside corner, you know, all four corners again, which not a big surprise there, right?
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pretty much right there. So you could change colors here if you wanted to give yourself a little bit more of a visual for where to place your piece. But it is basically the corners of that exterior rectangle there. So
And in your instructions, Kimberbell's going to have you use like a thumbtack to get these corners in place. We usually just peel back the fabric and line the edges up that way. Okay.
All right. So those are stitched. And we are now going to pretend for a second, just in case some of you are going to do the thumbtack method. I'll show you what to do. You're going to come to the back and you are going to find that corner point and you would push your, so there's the corner, you would literally push your thumbtack into that corner point. And you would do that at all 4 corners. And then when you turn your hoop to the front, you'll end up with little stabby things coming up in the corners. That's not the reason that I don't do it. It's just one more thing. Which way's up?
I don't think it matters.
Let's go this way. We're going to go this way. So here's the top. If you care what direction this is in, you can go ahead and orient that. I am going to remove my tape so that I'm not having to try to rip it out later on, because it's a little bit easier to do now than when it's in the seam. All right. And basically what we're going to do is we are going to line up our registration mark with our registration mark. So if you had that thumbtack, you would basically stab until you got the pointy tip to come into your corner. What I like to do is bend this basically at a 45-degree angle. So I'm creating a square. And I line up my pieces, and then when I'm flowing up, I can see that those are completely lining up. I don't know if you guys, can you see that?
I think so.
Okay, so I know that that corner is lined up because those lines lined up the entire way as I was moving through that. So I'm going to very securely tape that so it doesn't shift. If you're only taping it to fabric.
Is the zipper pull in?
Oh no, you probably want to do that. Thanks. I was so excited about lining up registration marks because it's so exciting. All right. Yeah, in Yep. So it has you do the thumbtacks and then put the zipper pull in. Doesn't really matter which order in that one.
As long as it's open.
As long as it is open. So my zipper pull is now here. It's very important. Don't skip that step. Sorry. I was so excited.
I know. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to burst your bubble.
Oh, man. You're no fun. All right.
Better now than later, though.
It is so much better to burst that bubble of did you rather than why didn't you? All right. And again, I'm going to line up those till I get them where I like them. And if I'm only taping to fabric, it's going to shift and it's going to pull. So you need to make sure that you are taping to stabilizer. And sometimes when you pull on one side, it moves the other, so you can double check and make sure. All right, so I'm happy with those 2 corners. So now I can just check and see this one is actually right on the money. I don't even have to move anything. And one final check over here. All right, so with your zipper pull in the middle, right here, we are now going to stitch around and it will take and tack your backing to the front of the bag. We are not placing any lining fabric at this time.
Nope.
Here we go. If you used thumbtacks, they need to be removed at this point.
Yeah.
That's the other reason I don't like to use them is then I get over here and I'm like, oh man. This is a little thick because of the different type of stabilizer and the batting. So there's a little bit more going on here than we sometimes have when we're putting on our backing fabric.
Yep. And one of the things that I always tell people, when you get to this point as well, if for some reason it doesn't go well, like you're really struggling to get the pieces together,
Lined up, and
it's really easy to pop this out of your hoop and do these last 2 stitches
on your
regular sewing machine, where you feel like you've got a little bit more control over how everything
where the
lines
stitch is
up.
going to go, for sure.
Yeah.
So if you did it and it messed up, it's okay. Just rip that stitch out and then just go sew it.
Exactly.
Absolutely. All right, our final piece is going to be our lining fabric. And the lining fabric is going to go pretty side down on the back. So I have a lot of tape on here. It does not appear that, at least on the front, I have anything really in the seam line. So I'm not going to worry about removing that. If you have tape on the back that is in, you need to remove it now.
Yeah.
Because it is going to be in there and it's really hard to get it. You don't tend to get it all out if you don't. So I'm actually going to just reuse these pieces because why not? So I'm just scooching them over to the side. And I have one piece of fabric left, hopefully. All right, so pretty side is here. What you're seeing, you're going to match pretty side to pretty side, and you're going to completely cover that. This is not oversized, surprisingly. All right, so you are not matching your fabric edges. You are looking at your stitch lines. Make sure that you are covering your stitch lines there. All right. And then we're going to tape that down. As long as all 4 corners are covered, you should not, in theory, have any issues with your side pieces. But if you are worried about that, you can place tape in the centers as well. But again, you have to do those 4 corners. Don't do north, south, east, west. You will end up with the corner folded in with almost no fail.
It's because, people like me don't know what north, south, east, and west is.
There is that. All right, so at this point, it is going to do a stitch, and it's going to leave an opening here so we can turn through that lining that we've put.
Yep.
So that is on the back of our hoop. And here is the final stitch.
Yeah, stitch number 33.
6 million. All right. We are 1/4 inching all the way around, cutting corners and turning. That's it. And then it'll be lunchtime.
Yes.
Anybody hungry?
Yes.
Surprised that quilting doesn't go farther out.
Right.
I mean, it's the batting that line. There's no stitch line that you're going to see that, but it still surprises me a little. It's more like a clear blue tie. It doesn't go off, which will work just fine.
Yeah.
All right, now I get my big old scissors out and choppy.
Choppy.
All right.
Pokey.
And pokey and all of those good things. All right. So we are going to take our project out of the hoop at this point. So much more helpful when your hands are working. All right, you may be taped to the back of your hoop. That might happen. All right, so we are now going to trim about a 1/4 inch all the way around that exterior tack down. You can use a rotary if you want. I really like these. This works really well for me, and then I don't have my rotary being hit with the zipper or anything. And final one. Once we have all 4 sides, we're going to clip our corners. And this is just going to help with that turning process. Again, we talked about a possibility of there being a lot of stuff in that. We'll let you know how it goes. I might let Sarah turn because I'm so nice and I like to share. Would you be willing?
Of course.
Okay. All right, so I got a nice mess going on. I'm not going to stress about that. We are going to turn through here. Do you want to do it over here?
Yeah, I'll
do
do it over there. I'll slide over. We'll swap spots. All right. So we've got a little opening in the bottom, and it's pretty stiff.
Pretty tight.
Yep. So you're going to just take your time.
Kind of stick your finger in a corner and push the corners through and...
And I'm trying to be kind of delicate because I don't really just want to like completely distort the fabric, but sometimes you just have to.
You just got to go with it.
Right. You just got to give it a little bit more.
Got to get a little bit forceful.
There we go.
Trimmed as close as I could without nipping stitches.
Yeah, and I like to just like kind of pinch into the corner
with your finger
and pop that out if I can. That doesn't always work. And now I can kind of get in here and get my zipper, and I'm gonna just open that up the rest of the way. Once you get that zipper head in your hand, you can kind of mush that over.
So that little piece at the top is the part where we were talking about it. It's hard to get those top corners when you have the zipper plus all of that fabric.
Yeah.
So once you have the lining turned, you're going to turn through that zipper, and then you'll see all the cuteness.
Yep. Go.
Okay, your hands are working way better than mine. I'd still be fighting that first turn.
Okay. And now it's definitely tight here. Because that top is small.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go kind of in that little hole.
I don't think she's going to be available. There's so many videos right now, but I'll come home real quick and see if she'll be available, okay?
Which one? Give me just a sec. He's working that corner.
Yep. There's a lot of bulk right here.
So based on what you're feeling there, would you switch the top?
I think maybe I would do the quilting with the no-show, just because that would give us just a teeny
less amount of stuff
yeah,
there.
Because I don't think we can trim any more of it out.
And the batting will give it the body.
Right.
No, I don't think we could trim anything more because I trimmed pretty tight.
Yeah.
Knowing it was going to be a lot in there. So, of course, you can press and that will help. That zipper's so close to the top.
Yeah, it is very close to the top. But look at how
That
completely
is
adorable.
so
I mean,
cute.
and really, does it matter that it's a little rounded on
No,
that corner?
it doesn't in the big
certainly
picture.
does
As
not.
long as your zipper is moving freely, that's all that really matters.
Yeah.
You could add a little charm on there to make it go even easier.
Yeah.
To have something to hang on to. I love adding zipper charms.
Exactly.
So cute.
So cute, and you can just trim your little.
Yep, your snips and get in there and get those jumps.
Yep.
So that is, you want to,
Aw.
cool. You want to show the quilting?
Yeah.
So you can see how gorgeous that turned out.
Right.
Awesome. We're going to just switch here if you want to switch back to the front.
Okay.
All right, so
right.
that completes that adorable zipper pouch. Again, this is the smaller of the two sizes. So this is what we're making on event day, but there is a bigger option if you would like to.
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you. We'll
Thank
see you guys on the
you.
next project.
Bye.
Just add
Yeah.